He says, but it's hard. And I said, you know what? If you think it's hard, then you're right. If you think it's not hard, then you're also right. It all starts here, but it's hard, he said. And I said, then you're right. I learned that when you are yourself, I learned that when you speak the truth, you attract the people that belong in your life. People seek change, but they wait on someone. You want to lose weight? Oh, I have to look for a buddy to, work out with me. You want a better marriage? Oh, I'm going to wait, till I lose weight. We are waiting for the perfect time, but then again, there's no perfect time, and you have to start here. You have to start to want to change, because if you're waiting on somebody else, maybe, okay, yeah, I stopped smoking. Okay, yeah, I lost those 10 pounds, but is it going to last?
OLGA RUBIO, welcome to the podcast Knowing Who You Are, and thanks for making the time all the way from California. And it's pretty early on a Saturday morning. It's 10 o'clock, I understand, which is 6 o'clock here in London. So it's great to see, and I can already see it's a great weather where you're sitting now and sunny. So definitely it would help you to bring your spirit up. You're a morning person or late morning?
Yes, I work out almost every day. I wake up at 5:30 to go to the gym, come back, and my girls ready for school, and then drop them off to school. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So Olga, what I do normally when I interview people, especially people like you who are inspirational for others and also trying to help others, so they would know that what you have been through and how, from your story, from your struggle or failure or now your success, how you can inspire people to try themselves. So we'd start by asking you, what was your struggle growing up? What you had to overcome?
I had to overcome a lot of things. The first one is my stutter. I used to stutter. Growing up, I was that little quiet girl who didn't want to speak, who really never had friends because I was just, quiet. So even around, my siblings. And yesterday I was talking to my sister and I was telling her about the podcast. And I was telling her that I'm very proud of myself because I used to stutter, and now, I feel like my voice is, is powerful now because I'm actually speaking.
It's reaching
out.
Was like,
yeah. She's like, you used to stutter? And I said, yes. She was like, I never knew that. And I said, well, because I was so quiet all the time. Like I didn't want to speak, So yeah, another struggle was not being able to learn like others. I was in special ed classes. That little girl who would get up in the middle of the class to go to her special ed teacher, to have that extra help for her homework. So those two things really, really, I could say affected me growing up, right? Because I let those two things define who I was. So I was a timid, quiet girl who didn't know what she wanted in life, who was lost basically, and who was very reserved. Didn't have friends growing up, even as mommyhood came in and stuff. And my girls helped me a lot because, they're very talkative, and, I find myself going to play dates, and with my first child, it was kind of hard because I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Like, what if I stutter, so like all these things, right?
Even with your child, that's what you're thinking, that what would happen when I start talking to my own child. That's what you're thinking.
That too. But I was more concerned about the other parents, because we're doing play dates. Right. And yes, and you're right. What if my daughter hears me stutter? I honestly would think that. What if she listens? How is she going to feel? Is she going to feel embarrassed? Is she going to feel compassionate? Like, what is she going to think about me? And to be honest, I had these conversations with my daughters. I thought, I want my daughters to know my struggles. I want them to know that when I was their age, I was this little girl, you know, who wasn't really liked, who was looked at weird because I would stutter, you know, and who really who didn't have friends, you know. So
Growing up, you would term yourself as an introvert because of that as
absolutely.
well? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I was huge. Absolutely. Yes. Talking to my daughters about my struggles as a kid is forming them to be those little girls, those adolescents, those women, you know, to be compassionate and humble and down to earth, you know, because I am showing them, or I'm sharing with them my struggles, you know, like these were deep struggles for me.
And how
So
did you feel during that time when you were going through this struggle? Would you blame yourself, or would you sometimes get angry and upset as well that why I have that, like rest of my
absolutely,
classmates or my friends are okay?
absolutely. Yes, I was different.
Hmm.
I was different. You know, I wouldn't get the straight A's. You know, like I would see my test and I'm like, hey, mine is so and so, you know, like I got a C. Oh my God, I got a C. Yes, I got a C, you know, because, you know, very few times that I get a B or an A, you know, and I had to work really hard to get the grades that I did, and they weren't the
Hmm.
best, you know. So going back to my childhood and in class, yes, it was hard. And I did know that I was different. You know, I was a stutter. I didn't really speak, you know, and I had my friends and stuff in school as a kid because, you know, they're kids, right? They don't know. But
Hmm.
growing up, you know, I just kind of felt lonely. I like, I don't have any friends. Like, I can't, like, usually other people would be like, oh, I'm gonna go and grab a coffee with so and so, or we're gonna get together, you know, as a bunch. Or I never had that. I'm okay with it now. I'm fine, you know, and I say the less friends, the better.
I mean, I have done that to myself intentionally growing up. I tend to spend a lot of time by myself, and that's how I had acquired a lot of skills, I would say. Because I started singing at a very early age. I started learning different instruments. I started writing. I used to read a lot. And it helped me tremendously because you can get away from those distractions.
Right.
Problem is that we are from different generations as well. I mean, we are now millennials essentially. So that's what helps. During that time, I didn't have internet growing up. Did you have internet growing up?
No.
Yeah. So it was, I look back and I feel like it's a blessing for us. So we could concentrate more because when I look around and see the millennials now, I get scared, the kind of distraction, because we go through it, right? Every time you pick up your phone, you want to check something, you end up checking 10 other things, and you just lose track of what you were supposed to do in the first
So
place.
true. So
So
true.
I have to be very intentional now how I use my social media. My phone, I try to keep it away from me as much as possible most of the time. So let's start with, so your struggle as you shared, and also growing up, you felt that definitely due to the conditions, you grew up as an introvert, which is intentional or unintentional, probably you don't know, but you felt the fear that you had inside. So was it different for your siblings? They were different from you, quite different, or they're quite similar? Or do you feel that it has anything to do with the nurture or nature, as they say, your environment around you?
I've always been the different one, to be honest. They don't stutter. I'm the
Okay.
only one that stutters from all my siblings, and there's seven of us. And it's common sense because they don't have my struggles. You know,
Mm.
they don't have my struggles. So yes, they are different. They didn't grow up, you know, feeling, you know, timid, or, you know, the way I did, at least.
So it didn't influence you in any way that they were different. And so what do you think that caused it to you? If it's not a physiological thing, it's more about a self-esteem issue, probably. Did you feel that? But where do you
Absolutely.
think now, if you look back, where do you think it came from?
Yeah, it's still that little voice in my head that would create, yes, it's self-esteem. It was that story that I would create in my head. It's crazy. Now I think back and I'm like, I was telling myself that I couldn't speak because I was going to stutter. Now I'm thinking, had I told myself it's okay to stutter, because you're going to tell yourself it's okay to be different. It's okay to be overweight. It's okay, but work your way out, you know?
But we are not born with this. Definitely, human being, we have this negativity bias, but we are not born with this negative ideas in our head. Or I'm like this because as a infant, and then when you are a young child, you have this impulse voices. You're very curious. You want to do everything. You're fearless. So unless someone or something around us that tells us that has to implant in your head. So in your case, did it happen in any way?
You know, growing up, I think like anybody, we have incidents, right? Where, let's say I stuttered and somebody looks at me a certain way, or my siblings laugh at me, or they mimic me. It's like growing up, you know, it was just on and on and on and on and
It's
on
just
and
getting
on,
worse even without you knowing.
yes, which created who I was before. I know I cannot accomplish XYZ because, you know, I'm just not good enough, you know. I would compare myself to others, you know, especially women. Oh, she's doing this. Oh, but I can't do it because I stutter, and, you know, I'm just not that smart, and yeah, I can't.
But did the comparison happen around you? Like your elders or someone was saying that, Olga, look at your sister or your brother. I mean, they're doing well. They can do that. Why can't you do that? Did you face those questions?
Of course. Yeah. Parents tend to do that, right? Parents tend to do that because they want you to do better as well, right?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Comparison, I mean, in a loving way, of course, you know, absolutely. Yes. And, now it's like, you know what, parents, I'm doing this. I was like, I'm progressing. Maybe you guys don't see completely what I'm doing, but I'm doing this and I'm progressing. Like, believe me. And to be honest, my dad's like the other days, like, hey, you know, your mom is very proud of you. And I'm like, my mom is proud of me? Like, what? You know, she was like, because I post things like, as you know, on my social media, and they follow me. I follow them. They're my parents, right?
Yeah.
So they want to see what their children are doing. So I'm doing things that I didn't used to do, let's say 2 years ago, you know, hopping on and making videos about self-love, you know, positive mindset, feeling the gratitude, right? So, which I live, those are like those 2 things I live, right? That I do, right? So my mom was telling my dad, you know, I'm proud of her. Does she tell me? No, but it's okay. It's just the way she is. And I've accepted the way she is. And, you know, just feedback from friends. They're like, you know, they'll message me and say, hey, well, are you okay? You know, what's going on? I love your content, the way you're thinking. Like, the last time I saw you, you seem lost. Like, and I'm like, yes, friend, I was lost. Yes, friend, I was in a dark place. Yes, friend, I was depressed.
Which was when? How many years ago? 2 years?
Actually, it'll be almost 2 years. And let's say August or June, something like that. I had a nervous breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown because I had a life experience. Okay. Shortly after, and this is going to sound weird, I had a breakthrough. I was so sick. I was so tired of being tired of myself, of who I was, of how I would talk to myself, of how I would see the people around me. I would give others the power to decide for me.
You
I would
reached
give
your
the
limit.
power. Yes, I would give the others the power to tell me how to think, or what to say. And I would just sit back and I said, oh, you know what? Yeah, he's right. Or yeah, she's right. Or, you know, yeah, oh, she's smarter. So yeah, she's right. It's like, no. I believe in miracles. If you believe in God, you believe in miracles, period. Right? I remember having my breakthrough. And I just told myself, I'm going to be 40 next year. Olga, how do you want to live life from now on? Do you want to live life just feeling depressed and not pursuing your dreams and not bettering yourself? Do you have ideas? Do you want to pursue your dreams? How do you want to live life? I literally had to sit back and ask myself, how do you want to live life?
What prompted that question? Is there anything that you've seen, people around you, or someone inspired you? How did that happen? Like now you're inspiring people as a mindset coach around you because you've been through it. You know what the struggle is and what people normally, when they're thinking like that, what their fear is and what holds them back.
I can't explain.
It's like an
Like
epiphany.
God, yes. I was in my bed with my baby,
Mm-hmm.
okay, about 3 years ago. Actually, no, 2 years. And I said, God, I want to tell my story. I want my voice to be heard. Now, I didn't know why I was saying this. It just came to my head. I'm like, I want my story to be heard. What story? I wasn't really sure. I mean, I know about my struggles, but I didn't know how it was going to happen, right? And it's happening right now. I actually manifested this moment. I want to speak. Like, I want to tell my story. I didn't know that I was going to have a breakthrough and that amazing things were going to happen. Because to me, they are amazing. People might not see that way or see it that way, but I see them as amazing because I know my struggles. I know where I was, I know where I am, and I know where I want to go. I want to be heard. God, I want to speak and I want to tell my story. So there's where it started, to be honest. You know,
But did you still have the stutter at the time?
You know what? I still stutter a little bit, you know, at times with when I feel, I don't know.
Even though we can't tell. I can't tell.
I can't explain. You can tell and I cannot explain.
No, that's an improvement because it comes from your brain, definitely. So
absolutely. Yes. You know what it is? I empowered myself.
True. Very nice.
I empowered myself to be that you know, superior from not from you, not from anybody else, but from me, who I was before. I am superior from 2 years ago. So I am empowering myself. Therefore, people see me as, wow, she's powerful.
So you don't compete with other people normally. The idea is to compete with yourself. I mean, how better you are today, even if it's 1% better than yesterday. So over the years, it's a 2-year process. You have been doing it every day. So absolutely. When this realization came to you, what are the steps that you thought that I have to take to start this journey? What changes that you brought in your life? What have you done?
I really love that question because, and I said them earlier, self-love is healing. Self-love is powerful. That is one thing. Self-acceptance. Like, yes, this is who I am or who I was. It doesn't define me. That's the past, right? But I'm not perfect. I have my own flaws and it's okay. Nobody's perfect, right? So I'm just more at ease with myself. And that has allowed me to be here in front of you. I allowed myself to, you know what, go forward, to do what I used to fear the most, right? Which is speaking. So self-love is powerful. Positive mindset. Life happens to you, right? We don't have perfect days every day. It's not always rainbows and butterflies, right? So when life happens to me, I say, okay, this is happening to me, but what am I learning from it? What am I going to grab from that situation and let it serve me? You see, going back to I am powerful, you are powerful, we are all powerful, but it's just how we see ourselves. It's how we see our situations.
The self-worth.
Absolutely. We have two worlds that we have to deal with. There's two worlds that everybody has to deal with. Our mind is a whole world, right? How we talk to ourselves, how we see ourselves, what conversations we have with ourselves, because the best conversations we have are with ourselves, not with our husbands, not with the wife, with yourself. It all starts right here, right?
Exactly.
And then the external world, what is happening to you? Oh my God, I got a fender bender. I'm going to get a divorce. I lost my job. You know, so we have to deal with these two worlds, right? So what world can you control, basically?
So in your case, what kind of sustainable daily practices that you have implemented now? Say in your routine, anything that you follow that you didn't do before, now you're doing it regularly. As you had already said, You wake up around 5:30 in the morning, then you go to the gym almost every day. So apart
Yes.
from that, what things that you didn't do before, you realize that I have to bring them in. I have to start doing them.
So I was talking about self-love, positive mindset, right? And gratitude. So when I wake up, those are the three things that pop into my head. I am love. I'm thankful for my bed. The little things that people take for granted, I'm thankful for, right? The air that I breathe,
Very
the
nice.
car that I drive, my daughter's health, and a positive mindset. Today is going to be a good day. Those three things have truly, truly changed my life. Working out, I love to work out. Our emotions are also a muscle, right? It's like you have to work at it. So when I'm at the gym, I try to meditate. I just try to stay focused. I try to meditate. I'm mindful. I'm on the bicycle, right? My legs hurt, but it's okay. And I'm just imagining, like
More
I close my
focused.
eyes. I'm focused. I'm mindful. I'm present. I'm in the moment. I'm there. There's nothing else in my head, but I'm there. I'm present. I am riding the bike. Period. So being mindful, honestly, has really truly helped me to calm down. And now that I'm mentioning this, I feel that it's helped with my stutter. Because being nervous, that was me all the time, because I had the fear of speaking. So I would get nervous. The phone would ring and my heart would beat because I had to say hello. So being nervous, that was me like all my life, right? So being mindful has truly helped me to just calm down and to just, speak. And there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm stuttering, I'm rambling, just pause, calm down. Okay, and I take it from there. Not only do I use mindfulness while working out, but let's say while washing your hands, something so simple that we all do throughout the day. And I use my senses, right? How does the soap smell? What are you hearing, right? How does it feel when you rub your hands together? So you're being mindful. So I use a lot of mindfulness throughout the day. And that's one thing I changed that I didn't do 2 years ago.
Okay, it's a segue to the question now, because you're talking about mindfulness practices, but it's really hard in this society, which is always on now due to the social media. And also, since your presence in social media, videos, you're posting on Instagram, and you are on Wisdom as well. So how do you practice that? How do you keep the distractions away?
I'm going to go back to things that we do daily, right?
Uh-huh.
How about when we drive? How about when you're putting the clothes from the washer to the dryer? How about when you're eating? How about when you're doing your hair? How about, when you're getting a haircut? It's not impossible and it's not hard. You're just there. You're being present. You're eating. What does that feel like? Is it crunchy? Is it smooth? What are you eating? What does it smell like? I mean, it could be 2 minutes.
So do you have
here
time
and there.
segments for social media? Okay, this time I don't do this. And this is the time between, for this 2 hours, I will just do this one. I won't touch my phone. I won't be on social media. Do you have practices like that? How do you maintain?
I am working on that and it's so hard. So my girls are in school from 8 to 2:25.
Okay.
And when they're here, when they're in school, I am on Clubhouse. I am trying to grow my brand. I want to get known. So I need to be active on there, right? Because people want to know who you are, what you're selling, and whatnot. So I'm there for a few hours and then I go and pick up my girls and I try not to be on it, but it is hard. And that's something that it's, we all have to have goals, right? So that's one of my goals, to be like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm not going to have my phone.
Is it working so far?
It's work in progress. You know what I mean?
Okay. But anything that you have done or you feel like that, okay, this particular practices that I've put or implemented in my life, it's helping me. Is there anything that you would suggest for people who are listening or watching you now?
Yeah, those 4 things that I mentioned: self-love, gratitude, positive mindset, Those two things have truly, truly changed my mind, my life, basically, my life.
You are quite mindful about the positivity, and you are a great believer of positive mindset. And you have to, since you are a mindset coach as well, positive mindset coach. So isn't there any day or when you don't feel at all motivated and you're like, okay, I don't feel like going online. I don't feel like putting up a new video or a positive message out there. Do you have those days? How do you deal with them?
We all do. Absolutely, I do. Oh my God. You know, it's crazy because we all have certain times throughout the day or even throughout the week, right? Where something triggers or something happens. I get inspired. Like something like, okay, so I'm in Clubhouse and I hear something and I'm like, oh my God, that's so inspiring, you know? And let's say in the morning I woke up and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to, you know, hop on and I don't want to talk. But then I'm on there and I get inspired by another person. The way I inspire you, the way you inspire me, somebody else inspires another person. It's this, you know, chain, right?
So it's rather when you don't feel like going today, you go there. That's you just act opposite. You just do something that you don't feel like doing. Okay. That's how you push yourself. Okay.
Absolutely. Like I've gone live on my IG and I felt so good about it. And I'm like, I am overcoming my fears. I am overcoming my fears, you know? So I told myself, I don't want to, but you know what? Yes, you are, because it's going to, you're climbing that mountain and you're scared, right? But once you're up here, then you're going to do it over and over and over and over. And then it's going to become
it becomes
a habit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you like convert that negative into a positive. And it's, you know, you just have to tell yourself, you have to just conversate with yourself.
Exactly.
You know,
That's neuroplasticity, how you develop new parts in your neural parts.
Absolutely.
So in your case, when you're saying, say, for example, you are having a downtime and you don't feel like today talking to anyone, you don't have that positivity and everything feels negative. Say, for example, it's a down day totally. So someone reaches out and comes to you and say that, Olga, what do you think? And they're going through their own struggle as well. Since you're a positive mindset coach, how would you guide them on those days? How did you deal with that?
You know, I have been there. I have been there where I'm going through stuff and somebody else is like, hey, I'm going through this. You know what? I act the same way. I encourage them. I tell them, you know what, you got this. You know, I know where you're at because actually I'm going through it right now, but it's okay. It is okay. It shall pass, right? It's going to pass. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. You know, like, what are you going to do right now to change that, to shift it? You know, that poor mindset. What are you going to do? Oh no, well, I'm going to, you know, go to the gym tomorrow, or, you know, and I said, you know what? It all starts in your mind. It all starts with that mindset. You know, it's okay. And I tell myself, it's okay. I'm going through this, but it's okay. You know what? I'm learning this.
What are the normal issues that you find normally people when they reach out and when you're having a conversation with them, say in Clubhouse or even in your own practice? What kind of issues do they talk about? I mean, definitely there are some similarities, but there are some things probably you haven't experienced. How do you deal with them?
I want to say poor mindset. Poor mindset. And that really, like, that catches my attention. Like, oh, poor mindset. Wait, but no, yeah, you know.
When you say poor mindset, if you give few examples so people would know they can relate to it, what are the areas where they have this poor mindset?
Well, okay, so that brings me to this man who was on Clubhouse 2 days ago. And he was saying, I don't know how to deal with my family who don't believe me, who don't support me. I have these goals, but they're telling me to get a real job, you know?
Okay.
So a lot of people are into entrepreneurs deal with that. Yeah. You know, I went through it and I told him, look, if you think that you are enough to pursue your dreams, that is all that matters. That is all that matters. Everybody is going to give you your feedback, either parents, your wife, you know, your neighbor. You're going to hear feedback all the time, but it depends on you how to perceive it. You know, if you're feeling down about it, let that be that stepping stone to be like, you know what, I feel down, but it's okay because you know what, this is in my heart. I want to accomplish this. and I'm going to give myself that power to actually pursue my dreams.
Is that an easy journey, do you think, or it needs practice? Because normally you're opening social media, everyone is posting their filtered images and their good life, holidays and everything. And suddenly you're sitting there, you're thinking, oh, my life, and what am I doing? They have done everything.
You know what
So,
he told me?
mhm.
He says, but it's hard. And I said, you know what? If you think it's hard, then you're right. If you think it's not hard, then you're also right. It all starts here, but it's hard, he said. And I said, then you're right.
And
Why don't
especially
you
when it's
tell your
coming from within the family, people around you.
it's hard, it's not easy, but it's not impossible.
Did you go through it?
Yes, yes. And I'm still going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Now my siblings see, my posts and they don't like it. They don't say, hey, I'm so proud of you. I get the support from other people.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. And hey, it doesn't hurt me anymore because I understand them. I'm not waiting. I love to say this. I stand alone with my fear. I stand alone with my depression. I stand alone with my success. I stand alone because if you depend, going back to depending on other people, right? If you depend, oh, you're doing good, or oh, you look good. No. If you're waiting on that, then where is that self-power?
So is that swinged or that opens inward rather than outward? So all these external factors. So you
Absolutely.
have to completely shut it.
You have to. And it's not that I'm careless. No, I'm still caring. I'm still nurturing.
Yeah.
But it's what I think of myself, not what my sisters or my parents or my neighbor or XYZ. No, that doesn't matter anymore to me.
It starts from self-love, definitely. If you don't take care of yourself, how would you be able to take care of all those people who matter to you? So that's important.
Absolutely.
When we go through the biography of very successful people, we learn that they have to pay the price for the successes they achieve. So when you look at successful people, say in the field, the mindset coach or the coaching business or anyone who's a motivator, right? Influencers. And social media is full of them, to be honest, positive, negative. It's up to people. So when you see them, you know that sometimes they're definitely positive ones, but they have to pay the price for it. There's a trade-off. So when we read it, then we know, oh my God, they had to make that sacrifice to achieve what they have now. So do you feel that to achieve a level of success, if you have to do some kind of arrangement with your intrinsic values, how would you do that? Or are you ready to do that? Or how do you look at that? Or there are many people who are like, okay, I want more money in my life. I want more success. And if I have to do this, even though I'll change myself later on, but at the moment I need this, so I have to go through it. I can't help it. What would you tell them?
We have to reinvent ourselves, and that could mean so many things to different people. We want to be successful, and along the process you start either gaining or losing people, right? I've lost people. People are like, what books are you reading, and I've reached out to people and be like, hey friend, let's go, let's hang out. I don't get the response back like the way I was before, because you are transforming yourself and people are like, oh, I'm not used to that old or that new Olga. I'm not used to her.
This empowered Olga probably intimidated them, right?
Yes, but people don't see that. And people probably think, oh, she thinks she's all that because now she has a powerful voice and she says that she's overcoming her fears. And I see that, like I see that from certain friends. And I'm like, but wait, I'm still that same Olga. I am still that caring. I will talk to you, I will listen to you. So yes, along the process you will lose.
Yeah, because in your case, through your self-love, now you're more equipped to give more love and affection and care to those friends and family members.
Yes, but some people are not used to that. And I understand, and it's okay. It doesn't hurt me. You know, I just say to myself, it's okay. They're not used to it. She's not used to it. And it's okay. Like, I lost a friend, but I've gained so much,
True.
like, especially my self-love, especially, my positive thinking, my gratitude, and I will not change it for anything and for nothing. Just last night, my daughter's like, oh, mom, my friend was talking about, having filters, that she prefers having filters. And I'm like, okay. I'm always talking to them about the self-love, acceptance. And she wrote this big paragraph to her friend saying how her mom taught her how to love herself, how her mom taught her.
How old are they at the moment, if it's okay to ask?
13, 6, and 3.
Okay, so school, and this is quite an age when they are totally surrounded by all the impressions and the influencers. Say, for example, people probably every picture is filtered, every video is filtered, everything. So do you see that tension in them, that they feel that about the body image, how they should look like, especially the one who's 13 years old?
You know what? Great question, because just the other day, my daughter's like, she's 13 and she's very thin. She was like, Mom, do you think I'm too thin? And I was like, daughter, I knew that someday you would ask me this question, because I would ask myself that question when I was 13. I would stand in the mirror and I would be like, am I too thin? I think I'm too thin, And little kids, they don't care about feelings, they don't know about feelings, they'll be like, oh, you're too thin, you're too skinny, So all my life I grew up, they would call me la flaca in Spanish, in English, the thin girl, right? So I didn't tell their daughter, the way you are, the way you look, the way you talk, you're absolutely beautiful. Don't change anything. Look, right now you're thin. Yes, your cousins are thicker than you, and it's okay. You're going to grow up. You're going to get your curves later on. Right now, your body is the way it's supposed to be, and that's okay. You're beautiful the way you are. And she was like, okay, Mom. So like, we have to also, as a parent, I feel that, our kids are our future. We got to start to talk to them. We got to start to engrave, to bury that seed of self-love, because it all starts there. Just everything you want to accomplish, if you don't have that self-love, then you can't accomplish anything, because you're not approving of yourself. You can't tell yourself, yes, you can do it, because you don't have that self-love. It all starts there, and I believe it.
Do you feel that the line is blurred? Sometimes I think about this because there's a lot of toxic positivity around us. And when someone is probably a little overweight because they're not eating the right thing, nutrition level is not right, and their routine is not sorted out. But at the same time, they're hearing the message, you are okay the way you are. So there's a thing that they're not taking care of themselves. They're not physically active, not looking after themselves. But at the same time, they're hearing the message, yeah, I'm okay the way I am, whoever says what. So how would you tell them, or what should be the message actually? That definitely we are saying you're okay the way you are, but at the same time, you can tell they need to take care of themselves. So otherwise people would stop. They'll think, I'm okay, I don't have to do anything.
I've met very few people who are overweight and they're okay with themselves. And I'm going to go back to the same thing. If you think that you're okay being a little overweight, then you're okay. If you think, oh my God, I'm overweight, I'm going to get diabetes, then you know what? You're not okay, and you are going to get diabetes. It just falls back to what you think, period. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you're too thin. And if you don't lose the weight, you're going to come back to me and say, hey, you know what? Yes, I'm thin.
But our doctors do say, for example, when you go see them and they're like, okay, I think you should have brown rice now.
Well,
you're borderline. Yeah.
It depends. Also, it depends. If you're obese, obviously, your joints are going to hurt. You won't be able to breathe. There has to, but if you're healthy, heavy.
Definitely. At the same time, when we give that message to them.
Absolutely.
We have to make it clear that even though I'm saying you're the way you are, but don't forget, You have to look
Right.
after yourself and have a healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yes, 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 absolutely. So, I mean, yes, obviously, if it's an extreme, and I will always promote working out and healthy eating habits and whatnot. Health starts in your mind, and then you have to do the workout. You have to actually do the work, right? Like you engrave it in your head, and then, okay, so I'm 10 pounds over. Okay, I love myself, but I'm going to work my way towards losing those 10 pounds. So, yeah, absolutely.
So do you have any particular advice, or do you get to spend time with your daughters, say when a time is segmented and you think that this is the time of the day when I'll sit down with them and I'll discuss the situation, what they have experienced at school when they come back, and if they're going through any struggles, do you try to find out, or what is one advice that normally repeat yourself or you hear that you're repeating over and over?
Car time. The most fun times I've had with my daughters is when we are in the car, because we're all together. Mommy's silly, mommy's singing, we laugh together. We have the serious conversations. Hey, daughters, take care of your bodies. If you feel uncomfortable around somebody, please let me know. Like, we have the serious, the fun, the crying time, in the car. And that's one thing that we had a conversation with my oldest, and I was like, you know what, daughter, our funnest times are in the car because we're all together.
Do they go all go to the same school or different schools?
No, different schools. Well, my baby's still not in school. She's barely 3, but my oldest is junior high, 7th grade, and then my 6th grader is in 1st grade. Okay. So big gap.
Yeah, so you have enough time to spend with them, because the other day, every Sunday, we do a live stream of Knowing Who You Are. So the other day, one of our viewers from London, she called. She's a mother of 3 daughters, and she was telling us there's one thing she does now, is quite religiously. She separates out a time when she would spend this time with one of her daughters. She just picks every night randomly. I'm going to talk to her today. So she gave an example the other day. She said, okay, do you remember the other day something happened? You had this argument with your sister, younger sister, but they love, the elder sister loves the younger sister. But what you did, you just create a tent for yourself. You hid yourself inside the tent. Why did you do that? And they had this conversation separately. I mean, it's a very interesting practice. I love that, in a sense that sometimes there are situations, and especially during puberty, when you are more conscious about your surroundings, you don't want to share certain things.
No. Yes, that's so true. Yes, that is so true. My daughter's 13. There are things that I can't tell my 13-year-old that my 6-year-old should not listen, should not hear.
Or even your 13-year-old wouldn't like to talk about it in front of others.
Exactly. Yes, because it's personal, and we have to respect
the boundaries.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. So, Olga, at the moment you are on Clubhouse, you're on Wisdom app as well, and definitely you have other people around you that you're helping. What's your goal? What's your plan with that? Because you're a mindset coach. So how would you like to expand the practice?
Wow. That's a good question. So basically just talking about, my story, just saying my story, just saying it over and over again, in the room that I mod on Clubhouse, hundreds come, each day, and I'm on it every day consistently. Yeah. So people are listening to me, and that's how I plan to grow. If I don't open my mouth, then who's going to know, what I do, my passion, what I want to do, who I am. Right. And one of the mods on there, she says, tell your story, because you're not selling the product or the service, you're selling yourself. If I like you, then I'm going to buy from you. Then I'm going to go to you for your service. Along with that, I'm doing other projects. Along with being a mindset coach, I'm doing other stuff. So I'm a busy mom.
No, definitely. I mean, raising 3 daughters on your own, definitely. So it's an interesting world now, because you have to wear a lot of different hats. And at
Absolutely.
the same time, when you are a mod for one of the rooms in Clubhouse, then you're helping people and telling your story as you're saying, because this honesty is very important. Because people
Absolutely.
are trusting themselves, sharing
Right.
their stories with you, very intimate and personal stories. And how can they trust you when they don't know that whether you're honest or you're not? The integrity is not there. So it's very important.
Oh, just really fast. It just came to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that when you are yourself, I learned that when you speak the truth, you attract the people that belong in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are attracting the people who are going to root for you, who are going to support you, who are going to uplift you. And that's what we have to seek, right? But enable to have that peace, because for me it's peace. Like, people know my story, but yet they support me.
Yeah. And
You
also
have
you empower them.
And I empower them.
Yeah.
They have to know who I really am.
Because it's very important in a sense that we all want to be the hero in our own stories. So say, for example, you, Olga, go there and you suddenly like, look at me, I'm successful in every way and I'm doing everything right. Then they're like, okay, you've already done for yourself. You don't have time to listen to me.
Right.
And also you're taking the limelight from them.
Right.
But this is how, when you're trying to help them by sharing your struggles, because
Absolutely.
I have been through it, don't think I'm someone unique. I'm special. I'm someone like you. I have been through everything that you're talking about, or some less or some more. But the thing is, I'm nothing special. So at the moment, you're the hero. I'll just help you.
Right. You know, this is going to sound crazy to you, but pain is a beautiful thing.
True.
Pain is a beautiful thing. And I've learned that just recently, right? Listening to people on Clubhouse and on Wisdom, and happiness unites us, right? Happy birthdays, weddings, but also pain. And I feel like that unity, right? The pain that unites us is much stronger.
True. That's why they say don't avoid the pain, avoid the suffering. Don't let yourself suffer because you had a pain, but remember the pain, face the pain, but don't suffer every day through it.
Yes.
I mean, while you're doing the work, at the same time, you have to keep being in the journey that it will happen. And, you're pausing your whole entire life, living here and now. That's very important.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because, sometimes we just sit back and we get drawn into the depression, and why me, and why this, and why that, and it's like, quiet your mind just for a few seconds.
How do you do that? I mean, you have your meditation during your gym, but apart from that, say when you come back from the gym, you're at home. Yeah, please.
I just put it here just for the looks, but you could close your eyes. Close your eyes. How does it feel? Is it soft? Like, just be present. Basically, little things like that will change your life. And it's so basic and simple, but the most basic and simple are the best. So just being mindful.
Just bring your focus to one thing. Just concentrate.
Yeah.
Perfect. Very beautiful. So, Olga, where can the listeners and the people who are watching you now, they can find you?
I'm more active on my IG, Instagram. It's Olga_Rubio3.
Okay.
That's my IG handle.
We'll add that one in the show notes anyway, in the description. It'll be there.
Okay.
So, Olga, it was really nice talking to you. There are a lot of things I would like to talk about, but the thing is the time constraint, and as I promised that it won't be more than an hour. So I'll just like to thank you for your time, that you agreed to come on the podcast and share your wisdom with us. So it was lovely talking to you, and hopefully what you're planning and the journey you are on at the moment will go ahead and end up helping more people and spread the positive message of mindfulness.
Thank you so much. I am humbled. Thank you so much for your time.